wonderful guests. I mean, everybody here is very special, but I need to recognize a few people and ask them to have a brief greeting. First, the Honorable Zino Christodoulou, Commissioner of the State of New Jersey for Public Works, is present. I know he has another commitment and he has to leave soon, so I will ask him to give us a brief greeting.
Thank you all. Thank you everybody for being here today. It's a beautiful day outside. And when it's so beautiful outside, sometimes it's important to remember some days that weren't so beautiful. And the invasion of Cyprus now commemorates its 50th year. It's something which we and our children and our grandchildren should never forget. Haunting voices is such a powerful testament to what we endured 50 years ago as a culture and a community. And I remember some of those haunted voices, and I know that they led to haunted lives. It wasn't just a voice, but it created a life of pain and suffering and loss. And I remember when Cyprus was invaded, and I remember Makarios calling my father and explaining what had happened. They had been classmates and best friends. And Makarios was actually my father's deacon way back in the day. And they communicated often about what had happened to their beautiful country. But before the invasion, we went there as children and saw this beautiful place, Famagousta, which was the crown jewel of the region. And it was all taken over and destroyed. Decades later, when I took my children to Cyprus, and we went out to Protaras, and there's a lookout station where you could look through a telescope to see Famagousta. And my middle daughter, Cipriana, looked through the telescope, and she said to me, "Daddy, why aren't there any flowers over there? It's not pretty." And the little kid's voice, that was a haunting voice. And I remember that. And then when they opened up where we could actually go back past the green line, and I went with my mother-in-law, whose house was in Famagousta. And as we walked closer to her house, she remembered the neighborhood, and she remembered some of her childhood stories. And as we got closer to her house, she said, "My dad planted a tree for me there. They cut it down." And it happened to be a beautiful home that the military took over. And as we got closer, we walked up the sidewalk, and two Turkish military guards stood in front, pulled their rifles to the side, and just shook their heads, "You can't go in." My mother-in-law's legs actually gave out. She couldn't support her weight. If I wasn't holding her arm, she would have fallen to the ground in despair. So it's so important for us to remember these voices, and just as importantly, the lives that they affected. And if we don't remember that, then it's just consigned to a book. We need to remember these voices. We need to remember these lives and unify ourselves in our efforts so 50 years doesn't happen again. Thank you very much.
And I would like, we also have here with us the president of the Hellenic Federation of New Jersey, Dr. Panos Stavrianidis. So I would like to ask him also to give us a brief greeting. But before doing that, I know Zino mentioned we are commemorating 50 years, we're observing 50 years of an event that is still hurting, a lot. And we feel it, we know it, but the American public is not aware of it. There are other wars going on, there are other events that took over, but we cannot forget this. This event is a series of lectures, of other events that we are going to hold, organize as a literature fund in collaboration with other organizations. And I would like, before anything, to ask you to mark on your calendars a date, April 20th. It's a Saturday. At 1 p.m. we're going to have Congressman John Sarbanes, who has fought for many years for truth and justice for Cyprus. He is going to be here on campus, Bush campus, Piskatagouéi, 1 p.m. The official announcement is going to come out today or tomorrow, but please macro calendars because I think that's going to be a very interesting event. It's going to be his own experience. The many years he has been trying to work in Congress for this cause. As I mentioned, we have many organizations represented here today. I know that if I try to mention everyone, I'm going to miss a few. The Hellenic Federation of New Jersey represents all of the organizations. So, Dr. Stavrianidis, if you can please.
50 years. And I was there with Philip Christopher, who, by the way, I'm sure you all know Philip Christopher, right? He's the leader for many, many years, not only of the Cypriot community, but of the Greek American community to keep this alive. And you know, they say in English that every crisis has an opportunity, and it would be anathema not to grab this opportunity. Because when this took place 50 years ago, I remember we were students where the Greeks were very frustrated, and because we were not politically organized, the only thing we could do is run around the streets in New York and just scream in front of the UN. And you know what they used to say, the TV station? Get those Greeks off the streets, because we had no political power. So we had to grab the opportunity. I mean, it was a huge prize, but that prompted especially the Cypriot community to become politically organized. And we all participate. We haven't stopped. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we're having another fundraiser for another friend, Congressman Donald Payne, Northern Jersey. So we haven't stopped, and the main thing is to keep this alive. We can't forget it. And I'd like to convey the regards of Philip Christopher, who happens to be in Florida. And also I want to recognize we have a very fine Cypriot artist, Alexia, who is here with us. I remember her. Let's give her a nice round. I remember her back from the 80s when she was performing, and she's still performing. Yes. But thank you for your gathering today when my friend and colleague, Ambassador Andoniadis, called me and said, of course, we will support it. And I'm so happy that chose our parish here. I mean, he couldn't have chosen another parish because there's so many friends here to support this event. And I urge you to please stay after this event, because we're going to speak about the parade. And as you all know, the parade is dedicated to what? To commemorate 50 years of the invasion, of that illegal invasion, which is a shame. So please remain after the presentation of the book, and we're going to have a presentation and update you about the parade. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pano, and I'm glad that you mentioned Alexia, because I think she graciously agreed to sing for us a song for Cyprus before we start the presentation of the book. But before we do that, I would like to ask for the third and final greeting before proceeding to the book. The Modern Greek Studies program at Radkis and the relatives there have been very closely tied with the community for 30 plus years now, since the community decided to start fundraising for establishing a chair in honor of our great poet relatives. And we established a very close collaboration with Cyprus since 1996, when we were the only university in the area that accepted to host a special event the stolen treasures, the antiquities of Cyprus that were being sold around the world by, in various venues, and to be hosted Claire and Geridi, in an event here in Practice that started the collaboration that continued since then. And actually, our first visiting literature professor, Marinos Porpouris, has an appointment at the University of Cyprus, and he's going to be here with us in April. Having said that, I would like to introduce and ask him to lead us the new director of the Modern Greek Studies program, Professor Tim Powers. He's a professor of classics, a true Philhellean. We are really grateful for the work that he is doing for the program, and he is honoring us with his presence today, and I would like to ask him to say a few words.
Thank you, Manos. It is really a pleasure and an honor to be here representing the Modern Greek Studies program at Rutgers, New Brunswick. I expect that most of you know something about the program. It's a small but very robust one. I'm standing right in front of the heart and soul of the program. I'm sure you all know Katerina Korti, who really is the sort of engine of the program. But we offer a range of courses in the Greek language, as well as all manner of courses in Greek and Cypriot subjects and history, literature, culture, etc. I'm very glad that Panos already mentioned an upcoming event on April 20th, which is our annual Nikos Moriaris lecture. You'll be getting more details about that. This is a very important outreach and fundraising event for the program, as well as for the Elitis Fund, and I do hope many of you will be able to attend that event, and I can see and meet many of you there. Thank you very much.